Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Make It, Own It, Work It. It's Thursday at 11 o'clock, so we're switching our time to better suit our new in-person hours at the library starting this week. We're letting people in Monday through Friday from 1 to 5, so come in and get your stuff. We're excited to see you. So the subject today is going to be another t-shirt mod, but this time it's going to be a faux corset back. So we're going to be using some of the weaving techniques I've gone over before, and actually this is my shirt from last week that I did the cute little shoulder cutout on. So I will be doing a mod to that will help give it a little more shape, because this shirt on me is just a bit baggy and I wanted a cute way to shape it to my body. So yes, and this is also the shrug I made last week. This is the finished product. So if you were tuned in with us last week, this is how it ended up. So all we'll need today is the shirt you want to mod, a pair of scissors, and for demonstration purposes, I've got the lid to a storage box. This is so you can see what my hands are doing while I'm doing the weave. I don't think you'll need one for your purposes, but it might make things a little more steady. Just be aware if you're using some kind of basically makeshift mannequin, that it is not bigger than you are, or else your shirt will end up stretched out rather than form-fitting. So I'm going to adjust the camera so you can see my hands and my shirt. Give me just a moment. Alright, set the scissors aside for just a moment. So the first thing I'm going to do is lay out my shirt to decide where I want to make my cuts. And you'll probably notice that I've already made a few cuts. So laying this out flat. Ideally we would like it even so we can see what the shape of the shirt is doing. I've already made my first series of cuts on the left hand side. So as you can see, it starts at about the waist and goes all the way down to the end of the shirt. What I'm going to do is make some mirroring cuts on the other side of the shirt. Scoot this back a little so you can see the whole shirt. There we go. Perfect. So I'm going to make a mirroring set of cuts on the other side. This is what's going to give it kind of that the look on the back like it's a faux corset. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the shirt and mark it with my finger, come about as far in at the bottom as it is on the other side. And then I'm going to move my other hand to the top and bring it to about the waist, parallel to where this is, about the same distance from the outside of the shirt. What I'm going to do is carefully pick this up, only picking up this side of the shirt, ideally not the front of the shirt. And take that, whoop, and make that an edge on my table. I'm pulling away any excess fabric that isn't what I want to cut, or else you'll end up with holes you don't want. Alright, there we go. There's my cutting edge. What I'm going to do now is just take my handy dandy scissors and start cutting. Ideally I would like strips the same length, or the same width, width and length of the ones I've already made. And with your scissors you'll want a nice sharp heavy pair. Small scissors and light scissors and dull scissors have a hard time cutting through the fabric evenly, and it'll leave you with jagged edges. So I'm not actually going to make these slits very big, because when you cut, the slit will actually be twice the length that you're seeing right now, because it's folded in half. I'm just going to go through and snip. I'm not counting how many sections I'm doing. Making them about the same width, it'll probably be very close to the same number of strips, and I doubt anyone's going to be counting exactly how many weaves you have on your back, and if they are, they're probably standing too close. Or they're just really admiring your work, and then you guys can talk about it and tell them your technique. If you want, you are certainly welcome to measure and count. That would, excuse me, that would give you the most even results. But we've been over this before. I like to freehand it because why not? Makes life fun. All right, almost to the bottom. And there we go. That, in theory, should give me a row that looks about the same as the other side. So when I fold it out again, oh, yep, that looks pretty even. Huzzah! So what I'm gonna do now is make one more row of cuts. And the way I'm going to do this, I want one that comes directly down the center. So for these, I'm gonna use the ladder weave. And then I'm gonna make another set of cuts down the center with a twist weave. So that'll give it this kind of like a little bit of openness on the sides and just a little bit of look like it's tied down the middle of the back. So what I'm gonna do here is very similar to what I did with my other strips. My shirt wasn't quite even. Straighten it out, flatten it out. So I'm going to put my bottom finger in the direct middle between my cut sections and my top finger at the top in the middle between my cut sections. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to lift, put it down on the table, and there is the area I want to cut. So with this, since I want it to be a tight section of weaving, I'm just going to make very small cuts. Just a kind of a fraction of an inch. Probably my strips will be about the same width, just I'm not cutting quite so deep. And what this will do is aesthetically there will be no spaces between the weaves. It's a little hard to explain right now, but you'll see at the end. I feel like cutting into the shirt is actually very satisfying. It's kind of scary at first, like, oh my gosh, I'm hurting my shirt. But after you get a few cuts in, you're kind of like, yeah, this is awesome. Kind of like when you're cutting construction paper. I don't know, but maybe not everybody enjoys that kind of sensory crispness. And I've been enjoying these t-shirt mods. I hope you guys have been too, everyone out there. This has made me feel really positive about my body type and my body shape, which I think everyone deserves body positivity. So wear what makes you feel comfortable and what makes you feel fabulous, because love yourself. You're unique and it's awesome. All right. So you can see these cuts are just slightly smaller than the ones above it. They're not very big, but they're about the same width. So I have accomplished what I had hoped to. Huzzah! Hooray for my hands deciding to be steady. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put the shirt over my little makeshift mannequin, and obviously mannequin is a stretch using that word. So I'm just going to slip the shirt into there. Let's see. So be careful if you're using something like this with corner edges. You can see it's trying to get through the cut parts. So be patient putting your mannequin into your shirt. If you can do this on yourself, you're certainly welcome to put the shirt on backwards and weave upside down. I do not trust myself to be that accurate, so I'm using something else. You can also, if you have a friend or a sibling who is about the same size as you, they can be a perfect mannequin as well. Plus, I mean, fun quality time. All right, so what I'm gonna do, you can actually see all my cuts now. I'm just gonna give these all just a little stretch, just a little bit, because I'm not trying to open up the shirt as much as I'm trying to make it form-fitting. And the stretching just makes this more pliable. It gives it more of a stringy quality. This one I'm actually probably gonna leave alone since I don't really want it to stretch at all, so I'm just stretching the outside strips. So I'm gonna start from the top to the bottom. You're certainly welcome to work from the bottom to the top. The weave will be pulled up this way, and that's the aesthetic you'll get. I want the aesthetic of the weave coming up to down. So our ladder weave is the most simple one I'm going to show you today. And the next one's not so complicated. It just takes one extra step per weave. So I'm just going to pull this string, and I'm going to take the string underneath it and bring it through this gap I've made. And that's it. I've got my next string, pull it through the hole I've just made, and let go. So the string underneath, I'm going to go ahead and grab with my fingers and pull it through. And this is kind of why it's good to have a surface or something to work against, rather than trying to do this just on the table. Although it does work, it can be a little frustrating. So here's my next string, putting it through the hole, letting go, pulling it taut, pulling the next string through that hole, pulling it taut, and so on and so forth. This shirt is actually 100% cotton, which is great. It frays the least. Depending on what fabric you have, it may fray or it may be more stretchy. So do be aware of what kind of fabric you're using. If you're using something that's more stretchy, maybe cut smaller sections so that you aren't getting giant gaps. All right, there's my first section done. I've gotten to my last section. I'm just going to go ahead and cut it. This part feels kind of scary. Okay, we're good. So I'm going to tie it off at the end here. And all I'm doing is passing one half of the string through that last loop, and then I'm going to tie a double knot with my loose ends. And that's it. Yay! All right, I'm just going to cut off my little ears here, my little bunny ears. Boop. And that side is done. And now I'm going to do the mirroring side, also the ladder weave. This is just slightly stretched. So I'm going to take my top string, pull through and grab the string underneath, let go of my first string, grabbing my third string, pulling it through the hole that the second string has made, letting go of the second string, grabbing this one here, the fourth string, pulling it through the hole the third string made, and so on. I will just whip through this. I think you get the idea. I'm excited that this is going to give the shirt more form to my particular shape and a little more ventilation. It got really warm yesterday. I heard it got up to 80 degrees. We could feel it here in the library. It was pretty warm, but it's beautiful to watch out the window. So happy to be going into spring. All right, almost done with our ladder weave here. And as I go, I'm pulling it taut so that the weave comes all the way to the edge. Because if I left it loose, it might just kind of dangle in the middle, and that's not the aesthetic I want. All right, there's side number 2. Just gonna give this a little pull, do the scary cut on our last loop. All right, bringing one side of that cut loop through the last loop, giving it a double knot. Whoop. If I can fumble through it. Be patient with your hands. They do a lot in a day, whether you notice or not. All right, there's our double knot. Gonna cut our bunny ears. Snip. And it's done. Yay! So you can see how this kind of gives you a little shape in the middle of the back. kind of like a corset deal. So what I'm going to do now is take my middle weaves and do my middle strips and do a twist weave. So it's virtually the same as the ladder weave. I'm going to start by pulling on my first string. But what I'm going to do before I pull my second string through is give it a twist. So I just made a little loop. You can see my finger through there, and I'm going to push the second string through there. And I have to do this laying the item flat because these loops are so tiny. And this is done on purpose because I don't want this to be an open look so much as I want it to look almost braided. So bear with me here. Maybe I should have cut these a tiny bit bigger because my fingers are indeed fumbly. All right, here we go. I feel like the first one is the hardest. As you are seeing here from, I think I have to stretch them in order to actually get them through. The smaller the cuts, the harder the weave is going to be. So be patient if you want those small little weaves. It's going to take a little more coordination. All right, here we go. There we go. Stretching it definitely helped. Hooray for Fumbliness Live, because now you know how you can remedy this if you're having trouble at home. So there's my twist. I'm going to pull my next string through that hole I've just made. And then twist. Ideally, I would like to keep twisting in the same direction so that things don't become uneven or wonky. Twist and pull it through. And getting the strips even really does help because I'm having trouble pulling the thicker strips through. They're not quite as uniform as I would like. So hey, maybe that is advocating for measuring. But as I say, I like to live a little bit on the edge with my t-shirt mods. And sometimes you get fumbly days like this. But hey, crafting can be an exercise in patience. I think we've gone over this before. I get my moments of zen sometimes from my craft time during the week, learning patience, and this is actually starting to cook right along. Twist. I actually am considering wearing this today around the library. I have a cute tank top, but it doesn't have as much coverage as I would like, so you saw me wearing my shrug earlier. But I may switch it out for, I may switch the shrug out for this cute little shirt, because I'm really digging the idea of the corset back. Maybe it's feeling the spring vibe. Everything is excited about the sunshine. And speaking of sunshine, if you're doing these t-shirt mods, be aware these could leave some strange tan lines if you don't have a layer underneath. So if you don't want a little corset tan line and you're wearing this outside, do consider wearing another layer underneath. Or if you want it to be like a reverse henna deal, it could make a pretty cool pattern. Makes me think maybe I should cut a big smiley face on the back of my shirt and just get a reverse tan line so my back can always be smiling. There we go. As you can see, the small weave is a little slower going. I think it's going to look really cool. Oh yes, it's coming along. Once I move my hands, I think you'll be really excited about this weave. And with this, I would normally stop and show you my progress, But since it's so small and so finicky, I kind of don't dare to let go of it. There we go. Boop. It's been exciting seeing people in the library again. I guess that's one reason I'm digging wearing cute outfits again, is because I get to see people, which, man, this whole last year has been quite an interesting trial for everybody, and it's good to see all your smiling faces back here, and hopefully we'll be able to do in-person programs sometime this year. That would be very exciting to get to learn together in person, actually being able to see each other's smiling faces. I do kind of miss that. Here we go. Thank you everybody for your patience. I think taking the time to do this last cute little weave is super worth it. I'm really excited about it. Only 2 more strings. Oh, 3. Now it's 2. And we're gonna end this the same way we ended the ladder weave. Here comes my last loop. Oh, huzzah, huzzah. If I can pull it through, you won't have to watch me fumble anymore. Yay. Okay. It was a little more work. See if I can hold it up to the light for you to see. You can see it's more of a braided look than the ladder weave directly beside it. So I'm going to cut my last loop. Slip one of the ends through the current last loop. Tie it off in a double knot. And this time I might not have bunny ears to clip, since it's such a little loop. Oh. I might just leave it. There we go. And that should do it. This should hold. On this, it looks a little cattywampus. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to try it on and see what happened. As I say before, the shirt was a little baggy on me, and I wanted just a little more form-fitting. So hopefully this will now hug my waist and give a cool pattern that's a bit of a faux corset. All right, let's see what we ended up with. Here we go. Tilting the camera up so we can see. And oh my gosh, it actually turned out very form-fitting. That is super exciting. Let's see what happened to the back. Oh, I'm actually very pleased with that. It's a little bit crooked because I've not adjusted the shirt. And when I twist my back, it definitely it looks crooked, but huzzah! I really like this corset back. And this will give me a little ventilation, and it accomplished the form-fittingness that I was hoping for. Thanks for joining me. I feel like I have a shirt I can feel very confident in now. It gives me a little bit of coverage with my tank top. It has no sleeves, so I feel confident to go about the library today, knowing that I am both cute and covered to a degree that I'm comfortable with. Here are our shoulder cutouts from last week, our little bows. So I've got my bows and my corset. I feel ready to go shelve books. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week, Thursday at 11 a.m. And if you feel like you like this craft, let us know if you tried it, like and share the video, and we'll see you next time.